What other portal targets does the Oklahoma football team need to look into when the portal opens in a couple of weeks? That was very Dr. Seussian of me. I'm going to have to write the Dr. Seuss version of the transfer portal. Coming up next here on Locked On Sooners.
You are Locked On Sooners, your daily podcast on the Oklahoma Sooners. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
So, Jay, we've talked about what Oklahoma's done so far in spring. We've talked about the spring scrimmages that have taken place. What's a need that Oklahoma needs to address for this roster to make you feel comfortable about where they're heading in 2025?
So a lot of the youth that we were truly concerned about, especially on the offensive line, it seems like the only place where we probably need additional is probably at the center position. It sounds like there will be some movement in going after a center to go right behind Troy Everett, get someone with a little bit more experience. I think Josh Isosa is out there holding his own, but it's good to have one more. Owen Hollenbeck, I'm hearing he needs just a little bit more seasoning, in which, in time you'll be able to get him. He's a wrestler and, he's a power lifter, so he's got the strength and everything. It's just making sure you get the technique and the playbook down. But a veteran that's done it for a while, that will be good. Me personally, think we need to get ourselves another linebacker, more so depth purposes. Marcus James from Carl Albert will be there in the fall, so that gives you another big dude, 6'3", 220 pounds, legitimately that size. So you have another big linebacker coming in, but you're still super young. You don't have enough depth, in my personal opinion, so you need to add one more probably there. Corner, dealing with all the injuries, feels like that's another spot that we got to have, John. You may need to go snag another tight end. I'm not sure. We're not hearing a lot. I think Will Huggins was the name that was talked about the most, as well as Jaren Kanak. Kanak is still giving us something, but we may need one more tight end that can come and show out, because I haven't heard enough about Von Mitchell, which is the thing that kind of scares me the most. Maybe one more wide receiver? Maybe?
If I'm going to rank these needs, I would probably say a center that has some eligibility beyond this year with some experience. Somebody that you can line up behind Troy Everett on the depth chart and say, hey, we need you here. We want you here. It's Troy Everett's job, but we're going to look at you for the starting center job in 2026. Okay. Because Troy Everett's going to be gone after this year. And then you're looking at Josh Isosa and Owen Hollenbeck. And listen, that might be fine. That might work out fine. But if you want to look to the future, you're going to probably want to have a little bit more stability there and not have as much of a question mark. So in order to convince somebody to come be a backup center for 2025, you almost have to not guarantee them a starting job in 2026, but almost allude to the opportunity is going to be there to start in 2026. I think wide receiver, you're okay. I think tight end, sure, if you want to, but you brought in 3 transfer portal tight ends. Do you want to bring in another guy? I don't necessarily, especially if it's going to require NIL, unless it's a legitimate difference maker, somebody who's got skins on the wall, that has caught a lot of passes. He's shown that he can block, and he's ready to step in, and he's your day one time. If you're bringing in another body to compete with Will Huggins and John Locke and Carson Kent and Jaren Kanak and Devon Mitchell and Caden Helms and Cade McIntyre, I don't need another body. I need a legit difference maker that can step in right away and be a clear cut above everybody else that you have on the roster. Don't just bring in another guy for me.
Yeah, that's the tough part, is that, you do have to have somebody that is just a difference maker right there on the spot. You can't get someone that's just to fill the position. You don't want bodies. You want actual competitive players that can play, and like I said, difference makers.
You've got a bunch of good tight end twos. You've got a good group of, tight end 2 guys. You don't need another one of those guys.
Yeah, you need a full-fledged difference maker. And I think you can get that in the portal. I don't think that'll be that hard to come across.
I think wide receiver, you're okay.
Yeah, I think maybe one more wide receiver. I think the young guys can can step up enough, but it may be good to have one more just because we're dealing with a few little injuries, just dinged up, nothing serious, knock on wood. Hopefully you get Jaden Gibson back. If you get Gibson back, you're probably in a much better spot there because that's what 4 guys down: Lewis, Carry-On, Martin, as well as Gibson. That's your 4 that are kind of dinged up, but you still got 5 more that could be potential difference makers right now, wide receivers. So you're kind of in a good spot there. Running back is the one that I'm curious about. I saw that Gabe and Teddy was talking about Torrey Blaylock. They raved about him in some plays in practice and stuff, and Teddy talked about him in the scrimmage. And so it sounds like Xavier Robinson and Gavin Sawchuk are really your lead backs. Torrey Blaylock is fighting for some extra time. It feels like you may need to get one more running back, probably someone with experience in P4, like a high-level running back, someone that, it's good, that's actually legitimate, maybe someone that's more seasoned as well, someone that's not going to be around longer than a year, especially if you don't know what Barnes is going to look like, because it may be good to have that additional body. I'm not sure what's going to happen with our guy Sam Franklin. It just does not feel like he's ever going to get it figured out. But to me, if I had to rank it, I think center, I think corner, I think linebacker, and then I think running back is probably the 4, and then 5th one you'd probably throw wide receiver. And that's not saying that the guys we have aren't good enough. It's more so you want someone that's got the experience, like you said. You got to have something on the wall to show that you actually been able to play, and then from there, hopefully that gives you a player that's ready to contribute day one. And if you do it right, get you a veteran that's gone within a year, because it seems like that's what this team normally goes after.
Yeah, at wide receiver, I mean, you look pretty good. I mean, with Giovanni Gibson, Deion Burks, and Isaiah Satania showing out this spring, I feel really good about that group. And then Elijah Thomas and Manny Choice are turning a lot of heads. And I don't think we could say the same thing about the wide receiver, the true freshman wide receiver from a year ago in the spring. I don't think we were hearing much of anything about those guys, right?
No.
And so you still got those guys in Zion Kearney, Zion Reagans, and Ivan Carrion. But now you see Elijah Thomas and Manny Choice really emerging so far early in their Sooners careers. Now, do you want to rely upon that? I don't know. Maybe those guys are just ready to be them. Like they're ready to step out and put on a Jeremiah Smith or a Ryan Williams type true freshman season. Maybe. And so it's one of those situations where like, I don't want to necessarily take snaps from those guys if they're showing out and earning snaps. So, but for me, at cornerback, that's a place where you can afford to find a veteran, somebody that has starting experience, somebody that can come in and start opposite Eli Bone. If Gentry Williams is not ready to roll, if Cortland Guillory and Jeremiah Newcomb and Malik Hawkins aren't ready to be impact players, or Jacoby Johnson aren't ready to be impact players right now, then go find you a veteran cornerback that can just kind of hold it down as those guys continue to develop, a Kanai Walker, Des Malone type with some experience that can help you just kind of bridge the gap of development with these guys. So, and maybe we're going to have to talk at some point about which position groups we feel like could see some portal attrition with the portal about to open too. I mean, I think that's a topic of discussion that we need to maybe touch on, if not this week, then maybe next week, because might be some guys that want to find some opportunities elsewhere, and who knows how that's going to go. Anything else you want to say on this topic before we get out of here, Jay?
No, I think it's going to be an active transfer portal season for the Sooners. So just be prepared for that. We'll definitely keep you all covered and with the latest and updates that we can find. But yeah, I guarantee it's going to be a very active transfer portal season.
Yep. So keep your ears listening to Locked On Sooners. Keep your eyes watching Locked On Sooners on YouTube. Make sure you're subscribed to the show wherever you get your podcasts. Make sure you follow Jay at Unfair Sports. Go check out his channel, Unfair Sports, over on YouTube. You can follow me at John 9 Williams. You can read my work covering the Sooners over at SoonersWire.com. The show is at Locked On Sooners on all of your favorite social media platforms. But until next time, he's Jay Smith. I'm John Williams. We'll talk to you next time. Boomer
Sooner. I think running back's gonna be fine, but we probably should get one more. A good body.
Running back's weird.